When I tell you all that I've done since being in Paris is eat, whew, no lies were told. Good morning from Paris. I am so happy to be here. You know what I actually just realized for the first time the other day is that I'm just overly drawn to big cities. I mean, I always knew that, but it just like clicked to me. Cities that I've always been so drawn to and wanted to visit, like London, Paris, New York. I remember the first time I found out I was going to New York, it was a surprise and I cried. I was so excited. It was always such a dream of mine to visit New York City. And same thing the first time I ever went to London, when I was touching down, when we were kind of circling about to land in the plane. Tears were like welling up in my eyes. I was just so excited. And yeah, same thing for Paris. It's just one of those places, you know, I love the diversity of big cities. I love just all the different kinds of people you get, the uniqueness of everyone's style. You can really like embrace who you are. And there's always something to do. There's always something to do. I love just walking around big cities, getting lost in the streets. And that's exactly what I'm doing while I'm here. Just kind of wandering a lot. Parisian architecture is my favorite out of any kind of architecture that there is. So just walking the streets, getting lost a little bit, wandering is so much fun for me. The other day, while I'm here, I'm trying to practice my French a little bit too. I've been taking like online lessons and stuff, really trying to brush up on it. And so I've been trying to put that to use while being here. And the other morning I went to brunch. It was so funny. I tried to order French toast, which is pain perdu, and I ended up with pancakes. Which was fine. The pancakes were, oh my god, it's so friggin' windy right here. Which is fine. The pancakes were delicious. But that kind of knocked my confidence a little bit, and I was speaking English a little bit more. But then this morning I went to brunch and I was trying to speak French again a little bit, and the waitress actually said to me, she was like, your French is really great. And I was like, oh my god, like I felt so happy that she said that. And it just boosted my confidence a lot. And made me feel more confident in practicing and speaking with her. And it's just crazy what the difference is, like when you feel encouraged, like that positive reinforcement. Yeah, just thought I would share that. But yeah, it's going to be such a fun time here. I have lots of museum visits that I want to do. It's such an artsy city, so obviously, you know, hitting up all of that. I am such a big fan of art and design, so that's what I'm here for. Yesterday morning I hit up the Louvre. I'm gonna be hitting up the Musée d'Orsay as well, which is probably what I'm most excited for because they have a big Van Gogh collection and I'm such a huge Van Gogh fan, so I'll be really looking forward to checking that out. But on y va. The Louvre is just one of those museums that is so iconic that you have to visit if you are in Paris. So I spent a good chunk of a day here. This was actually my second time visiting the museum, but I find it's one of those places where it's so big that no matter how many times you go, you're always gonna find something new because you can just wander in there forever. And not only is there some amazing art, but I find, you know, the building itself is a work of art. Like, look at this room, the intricate details. I feel like I died and went to heaven when I stepped foot inside this room. Just absolutely stunning. I think it would be a bit of a crime to go all the way to the Louvre and not pay a visit to our girl, Miss Mona Lisa. So they do have a little lineup that you can get in where you can try to snap some pics for yourself. Now, as iconic as the Louvre is, I have to say I much prefer the Musée d'Orsay because it had more my vibe of art in there. Now, this building is stunning in itself as well. It actually used to be a train station, which they have converted into the museum. And when you're up on one of the top floors, there is stunning views of the city. So I made sure to soak that in for a little bit, and I spent the majority of my time in this museum in the Impressionist section, checking out all of that artwork. If you are a fashion lover, which I'm assuming most of you are, I would highly recommend a visit to the Dior Gallery. I actually wasn't going to go, but I'm so glad I did. I would recommend buying a ticket in advance because I didn't, because I wasn't going to go, and I ended up waiting in line for quite a while. So if you do have your tickets in advance, that's the way to go. But this was just such an incredible, immersive experience, walking you through the whole history of the brand, the vintage collections, the newer collections, the intricate details and what goes into creating each piece. Just overall, I was in awe and I learned so much, and yeah, I have to say it was just an incredible experience. So highly recommend. My personal favorite designer is Yves Saint Laurent, so it was on my list to visit the YSL Museum. This was also very interesting in giving you a little bit more of the history of the brand and being able to see a lot of the designs up close and personal and sort of walk your way through. If you are short on time, however, I would probably recommend visiting the Dior Galleries over the YSL Museum, but both were super incredible, and if you're a fashion lover, you can't miss it. Another museum that I paid a visit to that I really loved was the Museum of Decorative Arts, and they had a Schiaparelli exhibit going on while I was there. I'm not sure if this is an all-the-time thing or just for a period of time, but this was really interesting and really cool, and if you're a fashion lover, definitely worth checking out as well. I did spend a good chunk of time just touring all the fashions in this museum. Absolutely incredible. Today is the day I have been waiting for. A little thrift and vintage shopping is all I have planned, and I have a whole list of stores that we're gonna hit up. So let's do it. Just got another croissant from, this is from a boulangerie, Liberty. So we're gonna try this one out. I think my thing is, I really like when they're really, really warm and buttery and like fresh out of the oven. And I find a lot of the places where I've been getting croissants, they're not like fresh out of the oven. Not bad. Nice and crisp, but not warm. I could not visit Paris and not go to every vintage and thrift shop that I could find. Now, I put that all into a separate video, which will be coming next, so you can see all of my explorations and everything that I got there. But in the meantime, we will be talking about the food. I'm a little obsessed with French cuisine, so I had a time and a half eating my way across Paris, from cheese plates to wine, escargot, crepes. Oh, the crepes. But I will say I am a bit of a cafe queen, meaning I love to frequent different cafes, and Paris is absolutely littered with cafes, so I was in my element. Café de Flore is probably one of the most famous cafes in Paris. It's been around literally forever, and people like Pablo Picasso used to frequent there. So of course I had to stop in and have myself a coffee. I was there for brunch, so I had a coffee and an omelette and a croissant and just enjoyed my time at the cafe. Another very popular cafe, actually quite close to Café de Flore, is Les Deux Magots, and I decided to go check this one out as well and sit and have my usual coffee and croissant and enjoy a little bit of time just relaxing and people watching. Let's talk about Angelina Paris. Now, this is also an extremely popular touristy spot to visit while in Paris, so naturally I had to go. And there is definitely a line, so be prepared to wait. But they are famous for their hot chocolate. Just look how creamy and thick that is. Oh my God, I wish I could go back to Paris right now and have more. The hot chocolate was unreal, and the food at Angelina's was also incredible. So I would say it's worth a visit, but definitely be prepared to wait as it is quite busy. Another spot where you're gonna get a killer hot chocolate is Carrette Paris. Now, I'm gonna say I preferred the hot chocolate here over Angelina's, and I actually went back twice to get more because I could not get enough on my trip to Paris. I will say also the pastries and the desserts here were so good too, so well worth a stop in. Okay, the last food spot I want to give a shout out to is Pink Mama. Now, not really French food, but good food nonetheless. I mean, look how cute this decor is as well in the stairwell leading up to the different floors of the restaurant. And I ended up ordering a truffle pizza, which was so good. I mean, just look at that and look at how fluffy the crust is. One of the most famous neighborhoods in Paris is Montmartre, excuse my pronunciation of that, but it is at the top of a hill, so you're gonna get incredible views. You really get that like very Parisian charm here. It's very artsy. That's where you're gonna find the square with all of these artists and cafes. So taking your time to explore here and spend an afternoon or spend the day is well worth it. Paris is one of those cities I feel like is just made for wandering. It's made for getting lost in the streets, for taking in all of the beauty, for admiring the architecture, the cobblestone streets, the fashion, the arts, the food, everything. And I think I have to say my favorite part about visiting the city by myself was really being able to pick and choose what I wanted to do to fill my time with a lot of that wandering and soaking in the arts and the culture that make up this beautiful city.